Hi everyone, how are you? Thank you for stopping by my channel. This is Kay, the Blessed Driver here, and I just wanted to give a big shout out to one of my subscribers. His name is Jonathan, and he was a huge blessing to me a few days ago, and he blessed me and my family tremendously. We actually physically met a few days ago, and it is such a small world, and I just wanted to thank you, Jonathan, for being such a blessing to me and my son, and also to my mom. I believe it was last year or earlier this year, I did a video, actually 2 videos about, customers and restaurants and delivery drivers allegedly not delivering customers their food because some of them have been allegedly stealing. The reason why I'm bringing this back up is because a couple of weeks ago, I ordered from a restaurant that is near where I live. This particular restaurant was out in a different part of town, which is Oviedo. It's not too far from where I live, but it's a little bit further out. I placed an order for a salad. Uber driver picked up the salad. And anytime that I order food off of any app, I make sure to do a screenshot of whoever it is. I don't care if a person's using an anonymous name or whoever, I still make sure that I do screenshots. Everything seemed like it was cool. Guy picked up my food. And about 5 minutes in, maybe a couple minutes in, my order was canceled. But this was after the gentleman had picked up my food. I was like, okay. I contact Uber Eats. They told me that the delivery partner, which was the driver, canceled my order. And so I was like, okay. I still would have given this guy an extra nice tip because I always tip pretty good. He canceled my order and took my food. So before I wanted to assume anything, Uber Eats said that he canceled the order and I wasn't charged for it. Okay, whatever. Because I don't know what happened. Anything could have happened, but still. I called the restaurant to ask them what happened, and I spoke to a manager. The manager told me that the Uber Eats driver did come in, he picked up my food, and then that was all he saw. And shortly after that, he canceled my order. No explanation, no nothing, just canceled my order. And from where the restaurant was and from where I live, it was quite a distance, but still, he would have gotten paid pretty good for that. And not only that, I would have tipped him. I don't know this man. I've never seen him. And I won't lie, like I was a little upset. And if you guys look over in the community section, you'll actually see the post on what happened with the order. A couple days ago, I was just out trying to make some extra cash, and I was out doing some deliveries. I went to this one particular restaurant. I'm not going to say what location. However, I never really had too much of a major problem with them. Only sometimes if I ordered from them, my order sometimes is wrong. But lately, I've noticed that things had changed with the staff, especially the staff up front. It's not always this way, but I've noticed a change in them. And now I found out why. I get to the restaurant, but once I got there, it was like a slew of girls like up front. They're all standing around talking and laughing, college-age girls. I told them my order number. The girl gave me a bag of food. So I got the food. Before I turned around, one of the girls was really snooty towards me. And she goes, "Can you please swipe confirm to pick up, please?" This restaurant had never asked me to do that before. And so I was like, well, what happened? And she said, well, you need to go ahead and swipe picked up and confirmed. I was like, okay. I did, but I didn't even get a chance to rate the restaurant. It took me off guard. I didn't even check for the order entirely. Maybe 3 minutes after I left the restaurant, I get a phone call from the restaurant and stating that they apologized. Well, I'm sorry, but we forgot to give you the rest of the food. We didn't see it on the other side of the podium and this and that. I was like, really? I was like, well, I never even got a chance to even check or anything because the girl up front was rushing me out of there. Oh, we're so sorry. It's because there are Uber Eats drivers that are coming in and picking up the food and taking it and without delivering the food. And so we kind of rushed that. So I went back. I picked up the food. And honestly, I didn't even say anything because by this point, I was kind of upset. It's like maybe 5 or 6 girls all up front just being like just snobs. Take the food. I leave. En route, I'll call and speak to the manager. I told the manager what happened. And before I could even get the words out, he was just like, oh, well, what's really been happening is that we have been having Uber Eats drivers coming in to our restaurant, picking up the food, not delivering it to the customers. And some of them have been stealing the food and this and this. And so he said that the customers was calling the restaurant and telling them what was happening because they would see the Uber Eats driver pick up the food, but they would never get the food. The manager was going on and on and on about it. It seemed like he was taking up for the hostesses, but I said, sir, I understand, but they were very rude to me. I said I had nothing to do with that. And the girl didn't even give me my whole order. because they're trying to rush me out of there and make me mark it as picked up. And he said, you know what, ma'am, you're right. You have every right to stand there and double check the food if you want to. They shouldn't have done that to you. There are two different ways that you can look at this, okay? Because as an Uber Eats driver and delivering on different platforms, I know what happened. One thing, it could be that the driver really did take the food, picked up the food, and drove off with it into the sunset and stole it and ate it. Another reason is also because it could have been maybe the Uber Eats driver was trying to reach out to the customer. Maybe they're outside of a gated community and they couldn't get inside, or they tried to call the customer because they couldn't reach anybody. Whatever the case is, no one was there. They went ahead and after the appropriate amount of time, they canceled the order. And sometimes that happens where they wait till after the timer is over and they go ahead and mark the order as not deliverable and they just leave. And then the customer ends up calling the restaurant complaining, and so that's how that happens. It could naturally be the driver's fault, or it could be the customer's fault, or it could be a little bit of both. I was not there, so this is what the restaurants are telling me. But when they said that, I was like, wow, like this must be a big deal, because I don't really hear that too often, but I have been through that before where I had gone to a restaurant and they're asking me to mark the order as picked up to confirm. I went to a restaurant last year. I've never been there in my life ever, and they asked for me to show my ID. And the girl said that there were drivers coming in there picking up food that didn't belong to them, and it was just a big mess. So we talked about it, and he said he'll talk to the girl. But before I got to the customer's house, I made sure that I texted him. I told him the whole details while I was going through everything. I told him everything. I got to his house. He seemed pretty friendly, and he gave me a $6 tip. I was surprised. I was like, okay. So I did pretty decent off of that order. So he wasn't upset. He still gave me a good review and everything because he understood. I communicate with him and I told him the truth. About an hour or two later, I ended up at a Popeyes. I walked in and I told the girls who I was picking up for. She goes, may I please see your phone and can you swipe as picked up, please? I was like, sure. And so I was giggling because I was messing with her, right? I was like, what's up? I was like, you know, you're the second person that worked at a restaurant that told me this tonight. She goes, for real? I was like, yeah. I was like, because other people are at other restaurants are saying that some drivers are picking up the food and taking it. She goes, yeah. She goes, you know, you'd be very surprised. She goes, there are Uber Eats drivers and other drivers from different platforms that are coming in here and just, you know, taking the food and, you know, not delivering it to people, and, you know, it is coming down on us. I was like, word? She goes, yeah. So we're just talking and cracking jokes a little bit. Got the food. She goes, all right, Mama, have a good night. I was like, you too. And so I leave. Apparently, this has been something that's been happening often and quite a bit. And so I just wanted to bring that out there. Like, it's been crazy. So if you guys happen to go into a restaurant and they're asking you to go ahead and mark the order as picked up and then make you do it, it's coming down on the stores. And I think that's unfortunate that if that is happening to where some drivers are doing this on purpose because they want to keep the food, then it's going to affect the platform, and then it's going to affect all of us. But like I said, there are different reasons as to why some people can't deliver the food. You know, this makes people not want to order anymore. But at the same time, you know, we have to also look at it from a driver standpoint, especially the drivers who are being honest and who are being loyal. They're actually going to make an attempt to drop off an order, but they can't reach a customer, especially when you try to call a customer, they're on the phone, you can't see the house number, or you're outside of the gate, or they're asking you to come down like a deserted road and it's completely dark. I mean, unfortunately, there are people who aren't being honest. That's kind of how it is. So let me know what you think. God bless y'all. Bye-bye.